Gao Zhisheng is an outspoken lawyer in China who handles cases that more than irritate the Chinese authorities. He represents dissidents and people who've lost land to developers. But more worrying still for Beijing, he's also represented members of the outlawed Falun Gong sect. He was jailed for a while for subversion and has been under surveillance ever since. And this week, his 41-year-old wife, Geng has turned up in Arizona with her 2 children. She has an extraordinary story of escape that started last October and took her through Burma and Thailand and eventually to the US, where she's been given asylum. Through a translator, Geng has been telling me about why she made the decision to leave.
The oppression and surveillance by the Chinese Communist Party went on for so long and got worse until in September last year, my daughter wasn't allowed to attend school anymore. My child became so depressed that she attempted to take her own life. Even when she could go to school, she was escorted to and from school every day by the police in a police car. The policeman would take her to class and the teachers would warn her classmates not to bring mobile phones in just in case she borrowed one to try to contact the outside world. Because of her presence, the whole year group was deprived of lessons on the internet just in case she tried to get in touch with the outside world. They cut off the internet connection for the whole building.
Can you tell us more about the journey and how you left?
One day last October, I was out shopping for groceries and somebody slipped a note into my hand. And then I realised that many Falun Gong practitioners and other petitioners had been concerned about us. With their help, we were able to leave the country.
Do you know where your husband is now?
When I left him, he was in Beijing, but I don't know where he is now. I've not had any contact with him since then.
Do you think he's been taken somewhere by the authorities?
I've heard since I got here that he's been taken in again by the authorities.
What do you feel about your husband's work that has caused so many problems for your family? Do you support him in what he does?
I support him. As a lawyer, his duty is to serve his clients like the underground churchgoers, Falun Gong practitioners and the people whose homes have been demolished to make way for construction. I think what he's done is right.
That was Geng, wife of the Chinese dissident lawyer Gao Zhisheng. We asked the Chinese embassy in Washington for comment. They referred us to the embassy in London, where a spokesman said they were aware of Geng's story but would not be commenting on it. Well, Geng was unclear about the specific details of her journey when we spoke. She said she just did what she was told by the people who were helping her. But Bob Fu knows more. He's a Chinese pastor at a church in Texas and was closely involved in the planning and coordinating of Geng's escape.
It took really months of preparation and planning, and with people of conscience, the different walks of life, including Falun Gong practitioners, underground church members, and ordinary practitioners in Beijing, in a way that really the family members are not fully aware how many people have been involved.
So then tell me about the journey that she took and how she got out of China.
The family members chose to leave Beijing when Mr. Gao Zhisheng was not at home. And although the family members were still being watched and monitored, yet because there were several months of planning, they already knew the pattern of surveillance by those security guards. They were able to get rid of their tails and bought a few hours, really, and got out of Beijing and on, I believe, January 9th, and then finally came to the border areas in the South China. And then the family members were separated into 3 groups, and they had to run through the journey before they got to the third country, is Thailand. And it was a very, very remarkable journey. And at one point, the group escorting the 5-year little boy was even detained and captured, and the boy was in an extremely risky situation, and finally that group used their own way to persuade the guards of that country, and they let this little boy go.
That was Bob Fu in Texas, part of a big group that coordinated Geng He's escape from China.